Yes, she is an amazing cook.
Mom is a legendary cook.
Mom is a gourmet chef.
Friends have told friends have told friends. Her reputation precedes her in the kitchen, for sure.
Every time for our birthday, she makes something special. Like every year, Andrew had a tuna melt sandwich. That was his birthday meal.
Andrew always got tuna melts, of course, every year.
I've never seen someone eat so many tuna melts.
She'd make 800 of them.
Every year she would let us choose on our birthday. What do you want to have, for dinner on your birthday? And we always had that red plate that said, "You are special today."
Yeah.
And I mean, we weren't very 365 days a year. 5 days she had a special child.
It was usually mounted on the wall.
Yeah.
And then for birthdays, it was like, bring down the red plate.
She is a really good cook to the point where sometimes now as an adult, like my cooking is never as good as hers was. There's certain things that I cannot eat a carrot cake because they're never as good as hers. Like even at a restaurant, I won't order one because I know it'll be disappointing.
And you know what? Her cooking style kind of changed with the family's eating style as well. Later on when vegetarians started popping up in the family, Mom started cooking a little more veggie friendly. And
I can't imagine my transition into vegetarianism without Mom there. She made a lot of changes easy for me, and I learned a lot from her.
Chopping is like her therapy. She's told me that before because I hate chopping vegetables.
Mom's friends growing up. She had our next door neighbor, Mary Lou Seavister. Are they coming to the party? Maybe I shouldn't. Wait a minute. Who's coming to the party? So they were weird. Steven was weird. I had to build a fence with him once, which is weird because I was like, Steven, is it? He want me to build a fence with you? All right. Damn, I don't have any friends.
Mary Lou, ML, Mary Lou Seawester.
Miss Seawister, obviously every time Mary Lou would come over, you'd hear her before you saw her, and she has a very loud laugh.
She had a really distinctive laugh.
Bess, what you doing? I gotta run some errands. Errands? Ain't you got enough of them errands? Woo! 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 Hot dog! I was like, oh, Mary Lou's here. It was awful. It was the worst thing.
Paula, we had a lot of fun nights where spent a lot of time together.
The Rosati's would come over, and Paula and Kate would come over, and we get the frenzy of wine, and Aaron and Kate knew exactly how their moms liked their wine, and they would sit there and drink a whole box of wine, talking on other man moms, and I used to hang out there with them. Then I was finally like, what am I doing with myself, I am 18 years old.
But Paula's just a loving, caring person and a natural nurturer. She loves to mother people, even if they're not her own. Paula, also an amazing cook. The greatest croutons ever are made by one Paula Hampton Rosati. And is it Hampton? Is that right?
Lori, also a very loving person.
Lori Lutz, although small in stature. No. The Lutzes, Bill and Lori Lutz, they just personify love. They just exude positivity and again, they have a lot in common with Mom.
The Walkers, Charlotte Walker and Mike Walker. I don't know Mike very well. I think his name is Mike. Yeah, speaking of Blondie, Blondie was our dog growing up. Every family should have a dog growing up. And she was one of a kind for sure.
We got Blondie. Blondie was a great dog. Blondie was a great family dog before we emotionally scarred her.
So many parallels between Mom and Blondie, yet they were, I feel, arch nemesis.
Mom and Blondie lived together. That was about the extent of their relationship.
Blondie and Mom were both home a lot. Mom had a household to run, so she was home a lot, and Blondie was always there, and they had, I don't know, a contentious relationship. I don't think Mom liked Blondie.
Blondie was a
But my mom did not like Blondie. She was just, I don't know why. Maybe Blondie was just like a huge when we weren't around.
I do not blame Mom for not liking her.
I don't know why. She shed an inordinate amount of hair everywhere. It could have to do with that.
We should have gotten some people from Animal Planet or some sort of canine biologist to come by. And I mean, in a year, she definitely shedded 3 times her body weight.
If Mom could say one last thing to Blondie, she'd probably say,
"You you're gonna get what you deserve now. Don't you ever me again.
One time, I think that I was probably in high school, we were sitting in the living room. The mom and I were the only ones home, and we had, you know, the glass screen door, so the actual door was open. And we see this little girl come frantically running up to the front door. The little girl starts going, "There's a dog on the roof, there's a dog on the roof." And Mom and I both assumed that Zeus maybe was on the roof, because Zeus was living there too at the time. And we go upstairs and Blondie is like frozen out on the roof. We had windows open upstairs, and I don't know what possessed her to go out the window, but she was on the roof and she was so freaked out. She was right by the window. We couldn't get her to turn around. She was too scared, so we had to go open the other window in the family room and like call her up to come walk. You know, she was in the window by the bedroom, and we had to go in the other room and like stick our heads out the window to try to get her to come.
As we got older and a little more independent, unfortunately, it only got worse.
Sneaking out in high school, I would sneak out of my house a lot. So many times, there was Mom in her bathrobe, smoking a cigarette. "Where are you going? What are you doing?" Pretty embarrassing. Sorry, Mom.
We were always picking on Mom. One time, Mom drove us to band camp. I'm admitting we went to band camp. I was 13, we were 14, and we went to McMurray University. It was a long drive, and Mom drove us, and the entire way there and the entire way back, we made her play the Pulp Fiction soundtrack. Over and over and over. And it was kind of cool. She knew some of the songs that we didn't know so well. It was kind of cool. But in middle school, I started getting a lot of fights and kind of being late for class just because I would take the long way around.
Tim was trouble.
Tim would skip a lot. Tim would skip high school a lot.
Well, I would sneak cigarettes from Mom, and I must have been 13 or 14. Snuck out front, had my own book of matches, lit a cigarette, didn't notice the match was still lit when I dropped it, and it caught her bush on fire. That sound dirty? Okay. The fire spread more quickly than I can imagine, and before I know it, the fire department is there, putting the fire out. Mom staying outside, giving me that look, and yeah, I got a lecture from her and the fire department that same day, and I think she's a little bit more hardcore. Between
Kevin and I, she definitely got more than her fair share of phone calls and general hell that she was put through. We were on a band trip once, and Mom didn't have to get a phone call about this because unfortunately she was with us. And we went out of town, and we were at a hotel, and I threw a lamp out of a window and ended up hitting another chaperone's van and breaking the window. And Mom was there, and you know, the band director and all the authorities had to come to her and be like, "Ah, Brian did this, little shit." And
They hated me and my friends, my clique. A band director actually once told me that he would kill me. In a perfect world, that he would kill me. And that was really Frank's fault.
Mom, I don't know how you did it, but you got through it. You were a great chaperone. You were a great band parent. It got to a couple of years later, by the time Andrew and Aaron were coming into the program, I think the effect was still there. I know Aaron, for instance, I know for certain Aaron, first day of band, Seibert was like, "You're a Wilson, huh? Get the hell out." Tell Bess I said hi. There was actually one time where I was about, I think I was 13, and I was walking with some friends, and I don't know, we were kind of playing with matches. and there may have been a small patch of grass. Anyways, I got brought home by Carrollton's Finest, and I was so upset. I was mortified and crying, and she was so sweet and supportive. Whether she's getting talked to by a police officer or by band director or by principal, she took that from them, and then she came. She kind of consoled me first because I'm upset, and she would let me know, this is probably not a wise choice, but you know, you're a really good kid. And you know, I never doubted that I was a really good kid, even when I wasn't a really good kid. And I think it's because of Mom. She was always reinforcing that.
If Mom only knew how much sex, drugs, and rock and roll went on in that house.
I feel like I've laughed more with Bess, to the point of tears rolling down my face with Bess, than anybody I ever have in my life. So we went to puppy training with Zeus. And as I said before, Bess and I did a lot of stuff together. We did everything together, and so she was my buddy, and she came with me to train Zeus. We brought him there, and he could do everything. He could sit and lay and do all that stuff, but his problem is pulling. Like when we would walk him, he would pull, and we couldn't control him. So we had told them this and explained them this, and they saw it suddenly as Bess was walking through PetSmart with him one day, and he saw another dog, and he wanted that dog, and he went lunging forward, and he pulled Bess behind him. feet up behind her, flying through the air. I'm hysterically laughing. People are looking at me like I'm horrified, like I'm the most horrible person in the world, and worried about her. Oh, let me help you, and I just have tears rolling down my face.
Growing up, she fell asleep watching TV every night in the living room with like mouth wide open and like a glass of wine in her hand still. And she would be asleep and something on TV that none of us would want to watch, and as soon as you would go to change the channel, all of a sudden she had been like snoring in the chair, and then you change the channel and she's like, I was watching that. You were sleeping. So, and she still to this day sleeps with the TV on.
She was constantly losing her glasses. She never knew where her glasses were. She'd be searching through things. So I just started early on just watching wherever she'd put her glasses. Whenever we'd stop, go somewhere, she'd take it off, I would watch where it was.
She would take her glasses off and put them on the bedside table, but for some reason, I was not taking her glasses. I was not taking them. They were never there. In the morning, every morning I was there, she couldn't find her glasses. I would wake up and see her like feeling around.
Right around the same time I was getting in trouble in high school, I definitely started hanging out with a different crowd, and the new set of friends all had long hair and what's up, man? And she totally hung with it, you know, as far as having kind of low-life friends. I think it's because of her brothers that she had growing up. I've seen the pictures with the stash and the hair. Uncle Joe, Uncle John.
Oh, that's another good story. One time, Kate, Mom, and I went to a Sarah McLachlan concert once, and first, she spilled her wine on someone, like the person in front of us. I don't know how it happened, but the people were really mean, and then these nice people made Mom feel better, but she just dumped her whole glass of wine onto this poor woman, and then it was like 20 minutes later she was asleep at a concert, and it was dark because she can't stay awake when it's dark.
You can't watch movies at night with Mom because she'll fall asleep.
So we were in North Carolina. The four of us went, and we had gone to some parade. I think it was an Earth Day parade. And we're sitting at a red light, and she has her GPS system on. And all of a sudden the man says, "Go straight through the light." And she just floored it and went across through the light. I looked at her, I go, "It's a red light." And we laughed and laughed and laughed. She goes, "Well, the thing told me to go."
When we were in Vietnam together, we were walking, and she was wearing a jean skirt, and she had her purse like across her body, and she goes, "Erin, something's poking me." I said, "Well, what is it?" She goes, "I don't know." So we went the whole day. I never heard anything else about something poking her. And then we get home, and on her skirt, it's like all these marks. A pen had been poking her all day, every step she took. The pen made a mark, and she never stopped to see like what it was that was doing that. And we get home, and she's like, "Erin, what's all over my skirt?"
Can we name all the cars Mom drove while we were growing up?
Grammy, one day I went to a restaurant with you, and I saw this giant chocolate cake, and you would let me buy it. And my mommy actually was telling me, "What do you want?" And I was like, "I want to get that chocolate cake." And it was giant, but you let me borrow it. And then when I saw that it was like maybe like that big or something, or that big, it was so big that you gave me a giant piece of it, and then I ate the whole thing.
When we were in Thailand, it was her first night there, I think, and she was really tired. We were having a drink or something, and she kept holding her eyes open because she said, "I literally could not keep my eyes open," and she would just be holding them open as we were sitting there like this. As we were sitting there trying to have a drink, I was like, "Well, let's go home."